Yeah, and that brought us to the end of 2009 when we were moved back to the States right at the end of that year. Arrived home in time for Christmas and basically looked at each other and said, now what? So we knew we had some kind of big decisions to make in terms of our next steps and our next goals in life, where we wanted to go with that. So that's ultimately what led to us sitting here right now. We really appreciated the close-knit community that we had while we served in Niger. Living in a rural area, lots of wide open space, and knowing your neighbors. Those are all things that I grew up in my childhood as well, and had definitely come to appreciate and had missed since I'd left home. And for Justin, it was something that he kind of realized he really enjoyed, since living in Niger. Living in Niger was kind of his first experience with that, having grown up in the suburbs of Maryland.
Yeah, and another thing I really appreciated was that 100% of the communication was done face to face. There was, some people do have cell phones, but 99.9% of communication is done face to face, and people are held accountable for what they do, and it was just amazing to see how little crime there was, and how little dishonesty there was. It was just, we've never felt safer anywhere in our lives, but yet it's, on the surface of it, the average Westerner would just be very, very hesitant to go and to walk down the street. But once we were there, I really felt like a part of the family, and so I think that kind of is what drew us back to this area, is because it is an area, one of the few sort of remaining areas, if you will, that where a lot of the communication is still done face to face, and people, there's a lot more accountability, I think, because everyone knows who you are, so you can't do things dishonestly, or you're not going to be able to make a living. You can't live in this area and be dishonest, because people know who you are and they know the way that you operate, and so you have to have a certain level of integrity, if you will. So I think that's something that kind of drew us to the area, because we wanted that to be a part of our daily lives.
Yeah, and moving back to family, of course, and to your family roots, that's something that a lot of families still have here. Been here for generations and generations, maybe since your ancestors moved from parts of Europe to here. And something that's, I think, quite unique for a lot of families in this generation, and I think for our generation as well, to still be physically in the same location that your ancestors were when they came, was really meaningful to us, and meant that we really felt like we wanted to continue on with the traditions, their lifestyles and their values that they began. So
yeah, I think it's a generational knowledge that's way too quickly lost, is my feeling about it, and it's so easy, you can lose it so easily in one generation, and it just takes multiple generations to gain that back. And so it's, I think we're sort of, I guess somewhat subconsciously, but also partly consciously, just trying to keep the tradition alive. We keep, our family keeps beef cows and chickens, laying hens, and so there's a lot of knowledge that goes along with that, that you wouldn't necessarily think of, but that's really something that I've always really marveled at, is how much knowledge it does take. So that's something that I appreciate about the area. People are resourceful and thrifty, and that's just sort of a character trait that seems to be slowly but surely disintegrating, I guess, as people go more into sort of a conspicuous consumption kind of attitude.